I was going to add a little disclaimer to the beginning of this speech. I did have visuals that I was planning on showing and explaining, but I didn't realize my printer was out of ink. So I led to me hand drawing them, and they turned out to be like this. And I don't think those are very good explanations. So I tried to slow up what I was going to say and explain it a little bit better and add a little bit more detail. And so I apologize for there being no...
You got the paper.
When I'm done with my speech, I want to make my audience think critically on if the government has the knowledge and capabilities to control the weather. Hurricane Katrina, last year's devastating tornadoes in Alabama, the Japanese tsunami. For years, we never questioned if weather was created by man. For Christians, the weather was created by God. For everyone else, the weather just was what it was. I always questioned everything. I was never one to settle for easy answers. I was the kid that always screamed, but why, but why, but why? This topic stems from a childhood fascination I had with folk tales, urban legends, and myths. I was a big fan of Bigfoot. I believed in the Loch Ness Monster. I believed in aliens. As I got older, the fascination took new roots. I started to believe in government conspiracies, government cover-ups. My questioning in man-made weather stemmed from further advancements in technology that opened up deeper thoughts, and with those deeper thoughts came deep questions. If we could control the weather, what would we do with it? Should we have this power in our own hands? And does the government have the knowledge and capabilities to control the weather? Does the government have the knowledge and capabilities to control the weather? To answer this question, you'd have to have proper security clearance to enter a lab in Alaska known as HAARP, or High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. According to Carevis County, which shows the government fiscal budget in 2011, the U.S. government spent $30 million on this program, so it must be important. If the main simplified force behind thunderstorms and lightning is energy, could we somehow produce the energy it takes to create weather systems? Weather is caused by energy heating up in the Earth's atmosphere. This uneven heating causes temperature differences, which in turn causes the air current or wind to develop. This then moves the heat from where there's more heat or higher temperatures to where there's lower heat or less temperatures. If the ionosphere is electronically charged in certain areas and in measured amounts, is it possible to create earthquakes, lightning storms, and rain? HAARP generates ELF and VLF waves through a process called modulated heating. By turning the high-frequency array on and off, or modulating it at ELF frequencies, we can also modulate the conductivity in the ionosphere at those frequencies. The UN treaty listed on the United Nations website has reports that Malaysia has used the same systems from Russia to create a hurricane that lifted smog and smoke off the cities, without actually coming close to land. Information shows hurricanes are not only created by the system, but destroyed by them as well. Malaysia company BioCure would sign a memorandum of understanding with the government-owned Russian company to create a cyclone that would cause torrential rains and thus cleanse the air over Malaysia of smoke and ash. On October 2nd, 1992, the Wall Street Journal reported that a Russian company, Elite Intelligent Technologies, has weather equipment for sale and uses the advertising slogan of "Weather Made to Order." If the reports are true, Malaysia ordered a cyclone. They also reported that Russia has the capabilities of creating a huge storm for a fee. This cyclone could be controlled, so that it would come close enough to Malaysia to clear away the haze from the smoke in the nation, but not so close that it would cause damage. Igor Pirogov, director of the company, said Elite is capable of fine-tuning weather patterns over a 200 square mile area for as little as $200 per day. If energy creates weather, and we could send energy into the ionosphere using reversed radio telescopes, would the government be interested in the technology? What is the basis behind the Pentagon's $30 million program? The purpose is said to be to analyze the ionosphere and investigate the potential for developing ionosphere enhancement technology. This is for radio communication and surveillance. Large antennas that are powerful radio telescopes that are usually sent for receiving signals like we use for the radio are actually sending the signals into the ionosphere. These are used to study the reflected waves that are modified by the medium through which they pass. This effect could have a bearing on future naval submarine communications. HAARP projects a 3.6 megawatt signal into the 2.8 to 10 megahertz region of the high-frequency band into the ionosphere. This signal can be pulsed or continuous. This will advance the study of basic natural processes that occur in the ionosphere under the natural but stronger influence of the solar interaction. This also shows how the natural ionosphere affects radio signals. It can also enable scientists to develop methods to mitigate these effects to improve the reliability and performance of the communication and navigational systems. It would have a wide range of both civilian and military uses, such as increased accuracy of GPS navigation, advances in underwater and underground research and applications. The project is funded by the Office of Naval Research and jointly managed by the ONR and the Air Force Research Laboratory. This may lead to improved methods for submarine communications or an ability to remotely sense and map mineral content of the terrestrial surface and perhaps underground complexes of regions or countries. We ask ourselves, can the government control the weather? The only way to answer this is being involved in HAARP. But straight from the United Nations website, we have recorded evidence that the UN peace treaty stating that Russia created a hurricane system to clear smoke and smog from Malaysia. We do know that energy creates the weather. A reversed radio telescope meant to send signal instead of receiving it can send energy into the ionosphere. Would the government create weather systems? Would they use them for weapons? Would they use them for their own purposes, such as the naval communication systems? The government denies its involvement in creating weather systems, but it doesn't deny its existence. Can the government control the weather? Does the government have the knowledge, capability, and power to control the weather? What do you think?